The sun was just beginning to rise over the training grounds, casting long shadows across the sand and asphalt of Camp Pendleton. The air smelled of sweat, diesel, and determination. 300 recruits stood at attention, faces tense, eyes forward, hearts hammering in unison. The drill sergeant prowled the line like a predator, boots scuffing against the concrete, hands twitching with impatience. She stood at the back, calm, steady, almost invisible amidst the chaos. Her name was Evelyn Cross. At first glance, she looked like any other recruit, uniform crisp, hair tucked under the cover, eyes sharp but measured. But she wasn't just any recruit. They had no idea what she had done before this, no idea of the legend that had carved itself into distant battlefields. "Move it," barked Sergeant Ramirez, a man whose temper had been documented in 3 separate reports and 1 very public reprimand. He liked to make examples out of new recruits, to test their limits. Today, he had chosen Evelyn. She had noticed him from the moment she stepped onto the base. A man built like a tank, chest puffed, jaw clenched, a storm of authority. He didn't know it yet, but his entire career of intimidating others was about to collide with someone who had no fear left to give. Ramirez started the drill, shouting orders that bounced off the surrounding buildings. Evelyn moved with precision, every step calculated, every motion fluid. But the sergeant's eyes kept locking on her, as if sensing something beneath the surface. His frustration grew. He pointed at her suddenly. "You! Step forward!" She complied, walking smoothly toward him, every other recruit watching, the tension thickening the morning air. "You think you're special, huh?" Ramirez sneered, stepping closer. "Don't think a little uniform makes you immune to discipline." "I'm just following orders, Sergeant," she said, her voice quiet but cutting through the noise. "Quiet? I'll make you scream," he barked, swinging a hand toward her in a controlled strike, the kind meant to intimidate and humiliate. The kind that had broken hundreds before her. He didn't connect. Evelyn had stepped aside with an elegance that betrayed years of precision training. Her eyes, calm but alert, met his. There was a pause, just a fraction of a second, but in that moment, the room froze. Ramirez's confidence wavered. "You, what the hell?" he muttered, stepping back, confused, flustered. She didn't answer. Instead, she moved, and suddenly the entire dynamic shifted. Ramirez lunged again, faster this time, aggression in every muscle. She sidestepped, grabbed his arm, and using a technique that looked impossibly smooth, spun him onto the ground. A collective gasp rose from the recruits. 300 pairs of eyes widened, a mix of disbelief and awe. Ramirez scrambled to his feet, face red with rage and humiliation. "What, who, how?" he stammered. Evelyn stepped closer, unwavering. "Sergeant Ramirez," she said evenly, "you should know who you're dealing with before you try to intimidate me." And then she revealed it. Not in boastful tones, not with arrogance, but in a calm, factual manner that made the entire drill field feel electric. "I'm Evelyn Cross. Former Marine sniper. Served in Afghanistan. Longest confirmed kill shot in history. 6,000 meters. I've trained special operations teams across 3 continents. And you," she gestured to him, "tried to hit me in front of 300 recruits." The silence that followed was deafening. Ramirez's jaw dropped, eyes darting around, searching for any escape, any shred of authority left. But there was none. She had dismantled it in seconds, with no weapons, no trickery, just precision, confidence, and experience. The recruits stared at her as if seeing a legend walk among them. Whispers spread like wildfire, speculation, awe, the kind that makes people sit straighter, move sharper, absorb every word. Evelyn didn't wait for them to react. She turned back to Ramirez. "You want respect," she said quietly. "Earn it. Not through fear. Not through bluster. Through action. Through skill. Through control." Ramirez swallowed hard. He had faced bullets, bombs, and boot camp horrors he thought he could control. But he had never faced someone like her. Not someone who had already walked through hell and come back untouched. Evelyn returned to her position, calm as ever. The recruits began to move again, but this time with a new kind of discipline, not fear, but respect. And somewhere in that mix of awe and uncertainty, Ramirez realized that the power dynamic had shifted. For the rest of the day, he watched her differently. Every drill, every command, every interaction became a study in humility. Evelyn didn't seek recognition, didn't flaunt her past. She just existed in the moment, letting her actions speak louder than any reputation could. By the end of the week, the stories of what happened that morning had traveled through the base. Recruits repeated them in whispers and chuckles, and officers raised eyebrows. Some didn't believe it. Some didn't want to. But those who had seen it knew the truth. The woman who walked into the drill field had already conquered far greater battles. And she had just reminded everyone exactly why fear was never a weapon she would hand over willingly. Evelyn Cross, quiet, composed, lethal when necessary, continued her training. But for Sergeant Ramirez, and the recruits who had witnessed the encounter, that morning would live forever. The moment when authority met experience, and experience won. She never struck again. She didn't have to. Respect had been earned in seconds. And it would never fade.